Greetings, Earthling. This is the Mook Cow, otherwise known as Paul Presenza. I am here to invade the universe. Also, we're doing a podcast for Indie Film Cafe. And I'm joined by...
Jonathan A. Moody, your co-host.
And together we are joined by...
John Moo Ward.
Moo.
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 We love having John on the show.
There you go.
Moo.
So, tonight we are going to talk about a stinky, weird, strange, over-the-top, gross movie that I saw way back in the day. And it'd been kind of putting around in the back of my head. I was wondering when I was going to do it. I figured we could do it because I didn't have it. It came out in Blu-ray by Shout Factory, but it had been out of print for a good while, and I hadn't seen it in a long time back in the VHS days. So I saw that it was on Tubi, and I'm like, okay, well, we'll save this for one of our far and away friends that we do our Tubi shows with that hadn't seen it, but we had a couple cancelizations, and so John was like, well, we can always get John Ward, and I figured John Ward had seen this one because this is one of those great 80s weird-ass films, and we are talking about 1987's The Nest.
The Nest.
And Moody, had you seen this one before?
No, I knew of it because the poster is iconic,
Yeah.
It's a very specific poster. I'm sure we'll get into that. But I had never seen it, no.
Okay. Well, I guess we will be back to talk about this film after we hear some music.
Music.
Okay, we're back. All right. So, The Nest. Weird, crazy bug movie. Little bit of bug, little bit of squirm, little bit of this, little bit of that. It's a weird film in that it's kind of slow initially, and then it picks up a little steam, then it gets slow again, and then all of a sudden, the last 20 minutes are like nuts. And all kinds of weird shit happens. And it's just a weird paced film, but kind of fun, even though it's kind of weird and it has a few issues. So I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about it.
I'll let you go first, John, since you've seen it before.
I saw it in the theater. So, I believe I do own the Blu-ray of it somewhere back there. I just couldn't find it, so I had to watch it on Tubi. Are we doing like a stinkometer or anything on this?
We're gonna do
yeah.
You're gonna be pissed. So, I love this film. I've seen it like 4 or 5 times. I think it is one of the greatest bug movies ever made. I'm not being sarcastic. The effects are amazing. I thought that the directing was pretty good, even though it's by the jerk who blocked me on Facebook for not liking Birdman and a film that he had nothing to do with, and got all pissy pants about it and blocked me in like 2 seconds later.
We talked about
But
that on the White Wolves.
yep, and I'm going to bring it up every single time it's a movie with him because that's such a childish dickhead move. But
John Ward, you have a number of different people blocking you on social media. What is going on over there in Nevada?
it's only with people who I guess don't like me for some reason. Most of them have worked with me before, so for whatever reason, but this guy never has. In fact, I only gave him props because I liked his Not of This Earth so quite a bit. And yeah, I really like this movie. I think it's Jaws with bugs. I think it's got that opening kill.
Jaws with bugs.
Jaws with bugs. Jugs. It's like Jugs, that magazine.
That's a different
Jugs.
movie.
Yeah. And that last like 20 minutes is insane, and it is so awesome. So yeah,
It saves the movie.
Yeah, I loved it. So I thought that it was really good. I liked it.
All right, Mr. Moody, what about you?
All right, so I'd never seen it before, and yes, just like John Ward, I guess you might be angry if you're planning this to be a high stinkometer rating for us because I too really enjoyed it. It's really funny because so we had another guest that was supposed to come on and they had to cancel, and I was like, kind of sad about that, but then I was like, whatever, we'll find somebody will be okay with doing this. And I had watched it up until about the 20-minute mark, right? And 20 minutes left. And then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna, I'll just finish it up later when we're gonna do the show. And then so today, this morning, I turn on the last like 18 minutes, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? This was nothing like what I just watched. Like, is this another movie? Like, I mean, it's the same characters, the same
It feels
actors.
like it, doesn't
And
it?
it feels like out of nowhere, there's like these things, these creatures, these hybrids, these, all these stuff happening, and they fit it all into 18 minutes. And I was just like, okay, this movie, and I'll say this real quick, is everybody loves, or like everybody knows, I hate when animals die. Like that's just my least favorite thing. Two animals die. Two of my favorite animals die in this kind of movie, and
A
I was
giraffe and a
really,
rhino.
yes, and I was really sad about it. And then up until the end, when like it comes back to basically gets resurrected as this
A cat
big
roach.
huge,
It's
yeah,
the
cat roach.
thing. It's like everything that it ate. I didn't like the animal stuff either, but at least the dog, it's off screen. And
Right.
but the cat, I didn't like the cat, but I get that it's Roger Corman and stuff like that. So the cat kind of bugged me a
You
little
know,
bit, but
so
Yeah,
when I heard, and I don't know, maybe Paul has some backstory on this or whatever when he does his thing, but I had heard that obviously the cat and the dog were treated well, or whatever. But apparently the ASPCA at that time in the 80s did not have any problem with them crushing bugs. Nowadays it does, but them like actually murdering bugs on screen, and there was over 2,000 bugs or
yeah,
something.
oh,
and they had a roach wrangler there.
Yeah, and they were killing actual real bugs, and I thought,
no
oh my
problem with
god,
that.
that's
No
I
problem with that.
I
They're
know.
roaches. Like one friggin' egg is like this big, and it has like 1,000 roaches in it. These
I
things can survive like a nuclear holocaust. They eat cigarettes. I mean, it's like they will do everything. They're disgusting. My previous apartment was infested by them. They are disgusting.
I don't like them either, especially in my house, but I'm just saying, I still don't like seeing them actually get
Jonathan has a
killed or
soft
they.
spot for roaches.
Well, no, I mean, no, I don't like them. Trust me. I don't want them on me. I don't want them around me. Like they're gross, But what I am saying is like, I don't like, this is almost like killing things for sport, because when you bring a,
well,
thing
killing for art.
for art, and still that's still not.
Yeah, and it just goes to show you some movies, when you start killing things like, I'm thinking of notoriously for does, oh God,
Cannibal
which one was
Holocaust.
called? Yeah, yeah, where they killed the monkey or they killed
The
the
turtle. They
animals,
ripped the
the
turtle,
turtle.
like,
Yeah, I
which I'm
mean,
not okay with. But
awful.
Kate Phoenix did kind of turn me around on that because she said that they actually did eat the turtle, like,
Yeah.
or whatever, like, because a lot of those people in that island were actually, this is what
Yeah,
they normally did.
same thing with Apocalypse Now when they killed a cow. It was awful, but then what happens when you find out is that that whole scene was something that was going to happen anyway. It was a ceremony, and Francis Ford Coppola just said, "Well, can we participate or watch it, and then maybe we could use it in the film." So that's what they ended up doing. It wasn't like they did that for the film.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But that's how it looked. And I'm telling you, man, that pissed off a lot of people back then, even back in the early '80s. You
Mhm.
know,
No, I get it, but
controversial.
I don't know. I'm not a really big fan. With the dog and the dog off screen, that made me happy that it was. I didn't see it, but the cat, watching the cat, get whatever it, and what really bugged me, no pun intended. Um, what really bothered me was the fact that the roaches were actually on the cat. You can tell like those are real roaches climbing on the cat. I'm like, don't like that. Like I just, oh, just kind of made me
Well, it,
feel.
it did its job then. I mean, I didn't like it either. But yet I shed a tear with Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom when the Brontosaurus fell through the dock and drowned in the water. So
I I
Atreyu!
I cried when what was the was it that movie? Was it Jurassic World where they're all like leaving the island and there's like one
that's the
dinosaur left?
Brontosaurus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like doing the Brontosaurus,
No,
it's
that's
like
For
like
God's
save
yeah,
me,
it's trying
and
to
It's
it
a
be
gets
little
out into the
ridiculous
dock.
to get emotional over a freaking
And,
CGI
and,
fake thing that doesn't
and
even
it
live.
collapses and they watch it and the thing drowns. Hey,
Come
it's
on
okay.
now.
I got teary-eyed when in Godzilla 1985 when he fell into the volcano and he does his
How did you
Godzilla
guys
yell,
survive
you know.
Bambi, for God's sakes?
Oh man, no, I can't watch Bambi. Nope. But I can watch Bambi: The Reckoning because
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I can watch the new one that's coming out or that
Well,
came out.
what the thing is that, like I said, there are a number of problems with the film. The pacing definitely is one of the problems.
I didn't mind the
Some
pacing.
of the characters are just not very believable. Like the scientist person was
Hmm.
just like extra weirdly creepy. I just didn't find it very believable. But the thing is, whatever sins the movie does in the first two-thirds of the film just seems to vanish when that last third comes up and just really saves the bacon of the film because it's nuts. And I wasn't thinking the thing so much as I was thinking society. I was thinking almost body horror kinds of vibes off of this shit, and it was just wow for 1987. And remember, and we're talking about Terrence Winkless, by the way. That was his first film. You know that?
I did know
Because
that.
yeah, and he's doing, and we'll get into some of the background about that. But for a first film to have that kind of stuff, I got to say that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I saw it in San Francisco down at one of those cheesy theaters that normally would play three or four like brand new B movies or even Z movies.
Oh,
And I think
those are
I've
the
told this
days.
story before where I went with, Cliff, who's with Shout Factory, and we would go down and one side of us would be a hooker giving a BJ, and the other side of us would be like some bum shooting up. And we would look straight up and there'd be a big hole in the roof and you could see the stars and they played Full Moon, they played Roger Corman, they played
Awesome.
whatever Italian zombie movie was out at that time. And so yeah, The Nest was one of them and it's
Is
based
that the
off a book.
Tenderloin? Is that the
It,
Tenderloin district?
yeah, I guess so. You would walk. Yeah, you don't want to really go down there unless you have to. It's one of those
Mm.
areas that they don't really show on in movies much. But
My
it
mom was from San Francisco, and I used to go there a lot when I was younger, so I'm fairly familiar with it.
Yeah, like the Electric, there's the State, the Affair. I mean, there were a lot of these really bad theaters that played all these movies. Berkeley had some of them too, but I really like this. I don't have a problem with the pacing or anything with this. I thought that the acting was pretty good. I liked that the characters were all individuals, which was kind of like Jaws. And there's the bug guy, and I like the bug guy, and
I
there's
thought he
the
was hilarious.
yeah, the weird homeless guy, and who the sheriff is dating, who's obviously Brody. And I like the girlfriend who comes back,
Homer.
and then Homer. Is that
Yeah,
the
isn't
guy's name?
Homer the bug guy?
Oh,
I
Homer the
think
Bug Guy.
Homer was the
Okay.
bug guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that he was decent. I didn't mind the scientist woman because this is very similar. I think yeah, this had to come out first. From X-Files, there's an episode where it's all cockroaches and it's a crazy female scientist.
Hmm.
She might even get her hand eaten up too because she's like so obsessed with them. Because I remember now watching this going, God, there was an X-Files episode like this.
And I don't know whether you noticed, but the bandages kind of appeared and disappeared between scenes sometimes.
I didn't notice that.
No, I didn't notice that. No, no.
Yeah, go back and watch. It's a little sloppy.
Yeah, I just liked
It's
the
Corman.
buildup of it is I thought was pretty good. Is that at first it's just the POV, just like the shark and Jaws. Then we get to see the cockroaches as they kind of roam all around, which then turns into our great last like 20 minutes of the movie where it builds. It's the messed up cat, mutant hybrid
Roach.
cockroach cat with its what are they called? Like what are they
The mandible.
mandible out of its mouth, which was awesome looking. And
Mm.
then I'm like, here, kitty, kitty. I would take that cat. And then it turns into our lead actress's dad. And I remember in the theater, because I went with, like I said, like went with like Cliff and probably a couple other people, is once I saw the cat, and then we see the dad walk up behind the lead actress, who's evil. He's the evil town mayor.
Yeah,
And,
he's the mayor from Jaws, basically.
yeah, I said he better turn into a cockroach. I remember saying that, and he does.
Wow.
And then I was not prepared for the giant mutant, like hybrid cockroach at the
And
very end.
then
It just builds from small to big
the
to
icky
massive.
bug sacks, and then scientist lady does not have a very happy death. That was pretty gross and kind of out of
Yeah.
left field. You know, it like
Hmm.
wow, this really escalated quickly.
Yeah, she gets to die in the Corman cave at least.
Yeah,
Was that
that's
the
true.
Corman Cave? Is that what
Yeah,
it's called?
The Corman cave is in it. You know what the Corman cave is?
I'm guessing it's the cave that they've used in many of the Roger Corman movies.
Yeah, like kind of like the Vasquez Rock is in a lot of the Corman films. It's the same cave that was used in like Army of Darkness. 1,000 B movies have used this cave. Batman, the original Batman from 1966, the Batmobile would shoot out of it.
Oh,
It's
nice.
known
Well,
as the Corman. There's an actual name to it, but it's known as the Corman Cave.
there's a
So,
few things. As a matter of fact, there are several scenes that were pretty much lifted from other films, from Humanoids from the Deep,
yeah.
and sort of recycled and added in so that
Cool.
they could save money because again, this is a
Well, yeah, the
Corman
truck,
production.
yeah, the truck that goes off the bridge, they
Hmm.
they just had to find a truck that was the same color. But if you look in the back of the truck, there's no bodies or anything. Yeah, because that's from a totally different movie. So, but that's typical Corman. That's
Yes.
I used to think that was cheap and awful before I got to really know who Roger Corman was, and then you just started watching for it, especially in like like New World Pictures. You would
Well,
always try to spot that.
I
didn't
mean, it
Lloyd
is cheap
didn't
and awful, but at the same time, yeah, it's typical Corman,
well,
and this is just one of his things, and it's the sort of thing that he would teach the other folks because you got to save money. You can't spend all the money you don't have. So this was just a way of saving money and getting a movie made.
exactly. Didn't was Lloyd Kaufman do the same thing? He used that same like crash with the car crash or whatever, and he used that on recycle it on different movies from like Toxic
Yeah, I
Avenger
remember
or
that in
whatever.
the the one that we did, the Tromeo and Juliet. That's like
Yeah,
the one in there that I've seen several
and
times.
so because I read about it, like he said he used that over and over again because he paid a lot of money for that crash, and he's gonna get his money's worth. So he's
Damn
gonna
right.
use it in a bunch of different
It's
movies.
it's almost like a Wilhelm scream, you know.
Yeah,
It's just not quite to the point where everybody's using it. It's within house,
right.
you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, that's what Corman did with Battle Beyond the Stars. He spent the most money he ever spent on a movie because Star Wars was huge. So he made Battle Beyond the Stars, and then you look at uh, Forbidden World. You look at all these the terror with it. You look at all these movies, and it's all footage from that one movie. It's all
Hmm.
if there's a spaceship in a Corman film, it's normally from Battle Beyond the Stars.
Hmm.
So and that was the fun of it after a while. Space Raiders had a lot of that stuff in
Dude, if
it
he
too.
makes a sci-fi movie today, you can expect footage from that movie to be in there.
It
Hmm.
would still be in there. A movie, yeah, that 30, 40 years ago would still be in a movie that he made today.
It's just funny. I mean, but I mean, it is what it is. Usually that leads to failure. But in Corman's case, I would say he has at least a 50-50 chance of it turning out okay. And I think in this case that it turned out okay.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
didn't really detract from the movie,
Well,
even if you picked it out.
I mean, yeah, I couldn't pick it out because I didn't know about the cave, so I didn't like that stuff. It just was a cool cave and everything to me. So I liked it.
So, before I get in the background, who can kind of sum up what happens in the movie?
I you want to go, John?
Well, sure. I mean, like I said, it's basically Jaws with cockroaches or jugs with cockroaches, and it's like this little. I don't even think it's an island. It's just like a little kind of seacoast
I think
town.
it's an island. Yeah.
Okay, and they want to. It's kind of also like Empire of the Ants. They want to build condos and expand the town, and they want to do all this stuff. So of course, there's the evil corporation that basically they have the idea of let's make cockroaches that will eat other cockroaches. It's like InGen from like Jurassic Park type of thing, and the cockroaches mutate. They get out of hand and they start killing people, and then the mayor, who is very evil, yeah, who's like the mayor from Jaws, who I have no idea how this guy got elected. I mean, there's not one scene of him in the town, even just like petting a dog or "Hi, little girl" or something like that. He is just pure evil from the first
I
frame
think
on.
because he's got money and that's it.
Yeah, and so people start dying. The sheriff kind of gets into it, and then the mayor calls that company, the evil company. They send out crazy scientist woman, and these are all her creations. All these bugs are her creation, and she's obsessed with these bugs to the point of even putting her hand into like a tank, and then they eat through the glove, and then she's fascinated by it, and her hand's bleeding and everything, and
Oh my
they have to
God.
figure out different, like, how do we kill these things, and they figure, okay, well, we're gonna bomb the town with this like spray or whatever it is that it will kill it all, and then they realize, yeah, it will kill the bugs that are out, but it won't kill the bugs that are in the sacks, which are giant. And if they get the lighthouse going, then they won't do that. But the lighthouse is a problem. Like it's not working. The wiring is all messed up and stuff. And through this whole process, the town gets eaten. The sheriff has a new girlfriend. She works at the diner. She gets eaten. She has her little gremlins scene in it, where she's pouring coffee
Yes.
on them and putting them in the microwave. Um, and so she has to die because she's the new girlfriend, because the old girlfriend comes back, and they start
And
up a
she's the mayor's
relationship
daughter
again.
too.
Yeah, and the mayor's
And she's
daughter.
prettier
And yeah, yeah. Oh,
and blonder.
she was wearing that battle bra. I mean, that was, it was like boing, like, whoa, okay, hello, getting off the plane. So I mean, and then they just have to kind of kill all this stuff, and they explode them in the Corman cave, because that's where all the eggs are. But which is kind of like the shark exploding. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's really just this small little island, this kind of like seacoast island that's
And of
fighting these
course,
mutant
they have the
cockroaches.
zinger at the end where you've got the one last little cockroach who's like, "Oh, you missed me, buddy."
Yeah, it's just kind of sitting there with just going like right on his foot. So,
Yeah,
which
by
I'm
tomorrow there'll
surprised.
be
How did they?
500,000 of me.
Why not do a sequel to this? I mean, they don't have to spend the money probably that they did. You just the Nest 2, and you just make it ultra low budget. I'm surprised Corman never did that. Or Julie Corman never did that.
Well, I
Hmm.
don't know if it did well or not.
I don't think
I don't
any
think
of
it
Corman's
did.
films really did. I mean, he says
No,
he never
no.
lost a dime, but I don't think any of his movies made a gazillion dollars,
That's because
unless
he
it
never
was.
spent a dime.
Yeah, I mean, maybe something like Death Race 2000, or yeah, Battle Beyond the Stars. Those type of things made money, but I don't think the net. But I mean, look how many Carnosaur movies he made. I mean, that's
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, to get a little bit of background on it, so the director is Terrence Winkless, who is a director that's been known for doing a lot of things. He did
Including
White Wolves
blanking,
2, yeah,
John Ford.
Blood, Rage and Honor. He did a bunch of Power Ranger stuff. He was a USC film school attendee, so he's kind of mixed up with that whole USC crowd of folks who did stuff, because he did work on movies like Soylent Green. He was in the original. He worked on the original Gone in 60 Seconds. He was in worked on the John Carpenter Dark Star. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Oh
It's
yeah,
a
oh
I love
yeah,
fun.
that movie.
Um, and most famously, he was one of the co-writers of the movie The Howling, which was a great film and it remains one of my absolute favorite werewolf movies of all time. So, dude definitely had some talent behind him. And it's funny, there's one point in the movie where you hear La Cucaracha being sung. That's him.
Oh,
That's the director singing that.
That's
I
funny.
think that's
Yeah,
the
we haven't
diner
heard that.
scene where she's pouring all the
Yeah.
coffee and the
Yeah, it's
microwave
like
stuff.
Luca
Yeah.
Garage.
So the writer was Robert King. Robert King, probably Mr. Moody knows because that's Cutthroat Islands. He also did Blood Fist. He wrote Dragonfire. He did Angels in the Infield and a bunch of other sort of B movies. So he's kind of a known guy. And the screenplay was based on a book that was written by Eli Cantor, although he put it out as a pseudonym, Gregory A. Douglas. Um, so yeah, these are guys who worked in the biz, and they all managed to get together under Roger Corman. Well, I guess really it was Julie Corman, but it's still Roger Corman. Um, so they helped support Terrence Winkless, and that's the thing about Corman is if you get in with him and you show him that you can do whatever stuff he has you doing, he will put you in a position to direct or to do things, whatever it is that you want to do. Now, you might not have very much of a budget, but he will at least give you a chance. Whereas, I mean, Terrence Winkless, would have he ever gotten into a regular studio situation? Probably not. But he got to make a Corman produced film, and that made him, he finished it and it gave him a career. So you got to like that.
Yeah, that was the great thing about Corman, and a lot of people just go, "Oh, it was all about boobs and blood and all that stuff." And people don't realize that without Roger Corman, we would not have a lot of these directors that we have today.
It was a
You
good
know, James
training school.
Cameron being one of them. And I forget what film it is, and then I forget what film they were talking about, but they were doing a larger budget movie. It was a space movie, and they had all the hallways and stuff set up, which of course would be like, McDonald's containers, just put up on the walls.
Right.
And one of the people who was working on the film wrote a script and went to Corman and said, "We're not shooting on the weekends. Can I shoot my film on the weekends?"
That's Corman.
And Corman's like,
Absolutely.
"Yeah, but it's all on you. Like we're not paying you, we're not doing anything, but you can use the guns, you can use the
Mhm.
hallways, you can use whatever you want, but we're not going to pay you. So you got to find your crew and all that." And God, I wish I could remember what film it was, and the guy did. They went on the weekends, so he basically shot 7 days a week. 5 days for one film, 2 days for his movie, and he made a movie. So, and more, as I'm sure it probably said, produced by Roger Corman, but yeah, that's I love Corman. I mean,
That's a
it's
classic Roger Corman move
yeah.
right there. And yeah, like I said, it opened the door for a lot of folks who otherwise would probably never have made it into the standard studio system because it's a very closed system. And you generally have to have some kind of reputation before they'll even come near you. You know what I mean? So that's why I love the B movies and indies in general. So even though Roger Corman's movies, a lot of them aren't particularly good or they're kind of cheap and crappy, it doesn't matter. You can't compare them to the big studios. It's apples and oranges. And I like these oranges a lot more because they're just more fun and it's more inventive. And yeah, and it led to a lot more stuff. And I kind of look at a Corman production a little bit differently than I do another film. So that's why he's one of the big indie greats.
Mhm.
Don't you guys think so?
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
I think he's an absolute god. I think when he died, I made two long videos about him and showing off my collection. I have a massive Roger Corman collection sitting back there. I mentioned to you guys with one film, Raptor, that I'm collecting all the Concord New Horizon movies because they're all and because they're out of print. And I think he's absolutely brilliant. I've watched documentaries on him. I had the opportunity, and like an idiot, I didn't take it. I could have been a PA at Concord New Horizons, but they weren't willing to pay. And at the time, I was stupid. I was in my 20s, and said, "Nope, sorry, you got to pay me."
I, I
And
I remember a
So
story too. Then you also weren't you also going to like, work on one or something? Like you wrote run something?
I wrote a treatment with a friend of mine named Eric Austin, and it was called "I'm Alive." It's like a 20-page treatment. It was very long. I went to school with John Parnell. His sister is Cheryl Parnell, who was Roger Corman's personal assistant in like the early 90s. Like she was a lawyer, so we hired her as an entertainment lawyer, and to bring her on as his assistant. So John gave me her, I think, phone number or email. I contacted her because I also wanted to get some posters signed. Not of This Earth and a couple others that fuck I sold down the road. But she got like Corman to sign like 2 or 3 posters for me. And she goes, "Oh yeah, I'll give you this. You have this treatment, and it sounds like it's something that we might do. So I'm going to, if you start here with the readers, she was going to bump it all the way up to the guy, the last guy,
Wow.
and she did. And he sent me back the treatment with notes, and I just went, fuck you. How dare you tell me
Oh
how to
man.
write? What do you know? My everything is perfect in this. I didn't tell him that. I'm thinking that while I'm reading his notes because I'm just this idiot 20-year-old who, and she's like, well, if you come down to LA, you could be, a PA, but we can't pay you. And of course, what I didn't think was I could be a PA for 2 days on my days off, work 5 days,
Right.
and then still go, I'd just be working 7 days a week. I'm
That's what they
thinking,
usually do.
yeah, it's like, nope, nope, I gotta get paid because everybody tells me, especially in film school, you gotta get paid. And so I said, no, I can't take it. I was a friggin' idiot. I had two
Yeah.
huge opportunities that I didn't take. And
And it's nice
friggin'
of them to offer the other opportunity after you turned the other one down.
I know.
yeah, I mean, it was, and I knew that if I had made these corrections and sent it back, it would have gone forward. And it's just like, so
Yep.
I
That
Oh,
was
regret
strike
goodness.
that.
two, John Ward.
My God, do I regret that?
I'm
Mm.
sure if you get, I don't know what they're doing with Concord or with their like company at all. Like now that Roger has left, I don't know if Julie is continuing to do stuff or what. But maybe you'll get another opportunity. Maybe they'll see something.
No, no. I think I'm friends with John maybe on Facebook, maybe. I don't know what happened to his sister, and the only relation that I have to Roger Corman would be Cliff from Scream Factory because he's the guy who took all of his movies and brought them over to Scream Factory. But there was a huge issue with Corman's son. That's why a lot of them were not brought out because the son wanted so much money and there were all these conditions. So they couldn't do it. So, and now Cliff is not with Scream Factory anymore. So
Well,
he's
and
over
I
at Arrow.
wondered because, you would have thought that they would be the ones who put out the Blu-ray or would have put out a DVD that never came out in DVD. But it turned out Shout Factory is the one who actually put it out. And I think, if I'm not correct, it's a combo. It's a DVD and Blu-ray combo. Because, like I said, this never came out on DVD. I was looking for it. It's one of those films that fell through the cracks. I had it in VHS, and it just never came out, and I could never figure out why. You know?
Yeah, I don't know exactly because it's weird. Like you would have the D for Scream Factory, you would have like the DVD would be The Terror Within and then Deep Space, which would be the remake of Forbidden World. But then when it came out on Blu-ray, it would be, let's say, The Nest and like Big Bad Mama. It would be two totally, it'd be
Right.
just different
Right.
movies, and it just didn't. Yeah, so I don't really know how all that works, but Cliff's explained a lot of this stuff to me on what goes on with buying these films and distribution and how it all works and stuff. But it seems like the at first Corman was fine with everything, and then his kids got involved, and then that
Well,
could
I knew it was
could be a
something
problem.
because, we just put out the first episode of season 7 and we did Dead and Rotting. And Dead and Rotting is another movie that it hasn't come out in Blu-ray and if you didn't have it, you didn't have it. But then you go back and look and it turns out it's part of multiple packages. There's like 3 or 4 different movie packs that you can get that as part of it. And I'm like, well, shit, why didn't something like The Nest become part of another group of other movies that you could buy as, you know what I mean? Even if they weren't the same genre, it didn't matter as long as it was released. That was the point.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
get.
So I
and
don't
it's
know. I don't know what the deal was.
Did you have more background, Paul?
Well, I did want to mention the actors. So the mayor, Colonel Johnson, was played by Robert Lansing.
Oh,
Dude was a veteran TV actor. He'd been in
yeah.
TV shows from the 50s into the 80s. He was also in a bunch of films, Gathering of Eagles. He was in Namu, the Killer Whale, which actually is not very good. He's in a couple other crappy movies. Island Claws, we are going to do that one for Indie Film
Oh, that's a
What's
good
it
one.
called?
It's a stinker.
What's it called?
Island
Island
Claws.
Claws. It's an evil
Like
crab movie.
claws? Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
like what? Yeah, crabs, giant
it's
crabs.
bad.
Nice.
He was in 30 Dangerous Seconds, Scalpel, Empire of the Ants, another one we're going to do.
Whoa, so he was in 2 bug movies. All right.
Yup. And he was even in Star Trek, the original Star Trek. So, dude
I
was in a
saw
whole
that. I think I saw
bunch
that.
of stuff.
Oh yeah, he's got the cat. Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, the cat is I remember that. It was a spin-off episode. He was supposed to get his own show.
Yeah. And then the daughter Elizabeth was played by Lisa Langoulis, who was again another one who was in a bunch of TV shows in the 80s and 90s. She was also in Blood Relatives, Phobia, The Man Who Wasn't There, The Joy of Sex, Transformations, White Tiger, Fire Serpent, and she married Robert Urich for a while, and they
Oh.
were together until they finally got divorced. The sheriff, Richard, was played by Frank Luz. And another one who was in 80s and 90s TV shows. He was also in a movie called Ghost Town. He was in some big films for a while, in small parts. He was in When Harry Met Sally. He was in Don Juan DeMarco. I don't know if you remember that one. He was in a film
That was
called
a
Web of
Johnny Depp
Seduction.
movie, right?
Yeah. Johnny Depp and Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando. That's right. Such a random
You can
casting.
believe those two together.
Yeah.
And he was also, again, yet another Star Trek person. Only he was in Star Trek The Next Generation.
Ah.
So that's those guys. And then Dr. Hubbard was played by Terry Trejas. Again, another veteran of 80s and 90s TV
Not to be
shows.
confused with Danny Trejos.
Right.
Oh,
Silk Stockings, Alien Nation was probably her biggest thing. She was on A-Team. But movie-wise, she started off in All That Jazz, so a big film.
oh.
The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
Wait, you don't like All That Jazz, do you? Isn't that a musical?
Yeah, but I liked it. It was a good one.
All That Jazz is great. It's Bob Fosse.
Oh,
It's a
but
great film.
John,
And
Paul
Roy
likes
Scheider.
musicals generally, so I'm shocked if he actually likes one.
Yeah, no, it was more of a dance movie than a musical, but I know what you mean.
It's very strange too. Roy Scheider is in
It
it, so
is.
that
on
adds
I
some
know
reason.
the last guy you think is the dancer, but he was really good.
Yeah.
But she was also
Connection
in
back to
Death.
Jaws into this.
She was also in Death Stalker, which is a stinky movie that I've loved. Fabulous Baker Boys, Frankenstein Unbound, and I'm sure we know that one. House
of course.
4,
What was the
a
Frankenstein
bunch of
movie?
the Alien Nation TV movies.
What was the Frankenstein movie we did, Paul, that you made me watch that was so terrible? That was Frankenstein something. It was on Frankenstein Island. Wow.
Frankenstein Island. Yeah, no,
that is
that's
hor-
that is even
horrible.
further down the evolutionary scale. Bad stuff. I
Yeah.
also wanted to point out that the guy Church, who was the one of the diner guys there, was actually played by Jeff Winkless, who is Terrence Winkless's brother, who was in a bunch of things. The
Nepotism.
movie was shot in Quicksilver Studios in Venice, California, and like Moody said, they brought in like a couple thousand actual real roaches with a roach wrangler, and apparently the studio complained that they had roaches for years in the studio that they would be doing something and roaches would come skirting out. So it's one of those things. Once you got real roaches in there, you're just never going to get rid of them.
One leads to a billion.
This is why we'll not do a roach movie, Paul. No matter how much.
That's
you like
right.
that.
That's right.
Hmm.
So yes, we mentioned the Humanoids from the Deep. We mentioned this is a Concord / New Horizons, produced by Julie Corman, Roger Corman's wife. Shot in 1987, released in 1988. And yeah, Shout Factory's the one who put out the Blu-ray. And I would like to get it. It's on my list. Apparently there are some extras. So I'm very curious to
I wonder
see.
if there's a
John
commentary.
Ward, did you say you have it?
I might have it. I just can't find it. I didn't think maybe it was a double feature.
I'd be very curious to see what the features are because, Shout likes to put out extra stuff.
Yeah, these are all my Corman stuff right here. But I don't. I could swear I had it. I know I had it. I just don't know where
Mhm.
it went, and I don't want us to spend a lot of time on this. So,
Well, if you
but
don't have it now, it's easily gettable.
Okay, so the only bonus feature that I see on here is that they have a commentary with the director.
Okay, so there you
Um,
go.
yeah,
He's going to mention John Ward and how disappointed he
that
was with you.
stupid guy who doesn't like Birdman.
how dare somebody not like Birdman? You know,
Film is freaking boring. I like the
no,
Corman told
director.
me all about this guy and how he
Yeah.
gave him all these opportunities.
dude, that I'm 100% with you, man. I'm not a big Birdman fan, so I found it to be too pretentious, in my opinion. You know.
Yeah, directors made some good films on
Yeah.
from Birdman, but not that one. So I don't. Maybe I need to rewatch it again. I have no idea, but I just thought that was crazy.
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, the film does have some flaws. Like I said, the pacing did kind of jar me. It's
It didn't
kind of
bother me.
uneven, you know.
You
But
can't
I
say
mean, if
that,
it
but
weren't for that last 20 minutes, Moody, come on, you would
well,
not have liked it nearly as much.
no. I think I still liked it. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I like so I think you're the stuff like in the first 20 minutes to go back to Jaws. That's what it felt like to me. It was like going around town. The sheriff was going around seeing everybody. I didn't like it where in the beginning of the movie the guy says, "Hey, chief," right? And then later it's like, "Okay, see you later, sheriff." And it confused me. I'm like, whoa, is he chief or is he sheriff? And
Chief Brody.
I think what happened was that somebody said, "Hey, chief," like you know how people say, "Hey, chief," right or whatever. But like he was the sheriff, so like that wasn't meant to be like a his call thing. But it was weird. It was
Well, but that's what they call Chief Brody is chief,
right,
Yep.
but he was the
and
chief.
he's sheriff. He's
No,
Sheriff
I'm sorry,
Brody.
there was no. Is he sheriff Brody? I thought he
Yeah,
was
he's the
chief
sheriff.
Brody. I thought he was chief. I could
Chief
be
of
wrong.
what? Because
But
chief is like usually like fire department stuff. That's not usually a police
Sometimes
department
chief
thing.
is also police. Um,
You can have the chief of police. That's
oh
usually
man,
of a
that's so
larger
wrong.
group.
On IMDb, it just pops up as um
Brody.
Brody.
Yeah.
Is Brody chief or what is it? Sheriff.
You should call up Kevin Smith. He knows. He's seen the movie a million times. He'll tell you.
Chief. He's chief of police in Jaws.
Yep.
So I thought he was. I don't think he was the sheriff. I think you're thinking because a lot of movies later made all the characters sheriffs instead of chiefs because that's really how you're supposed to be. I think because
Wasn't his wife that is like Jaws 3? Wasn't she like a sheriff or something? I don't remember.
no.
oh no, he's still I'll say chief in part two. None of the original people are in part three, and then Lauren Gray is still the wife in part
No.
four.
The sons are in part three, so they
No, but not the actors. They were
right. None of the
recast. Yeah,
but none of
Dennis
the
Quaid and somebody else. So
yeah. The only the mother comes back as and stuff in part four in Jaws the Revenge.
Hmm.
But
and
in
three doesn't count, but the younger son is like now a cop, and he gets killed by the shark.
oh
Right.
yeah.
Um, but one of the reasons I wanted to do this film, and I was really hoping we were going to get some nice, younger millennial who'd never seen this and would have been nicely grossed out by bugs because this is kind of a gross movie. And that's kind of where the success comes from. It's not so much about horror, but it is definitely about being gross and icky and vile. And I got to go take 37 showers after watching this movie. Um,
Well,
and
here
Like
it's
I said,
I can be a millennial. Then here, I'll just now
it's
ignore you.
very effective in
um
what it does.
the was it the what is it the bug the scene that is behind you, Paul, with the old woman, and she's like the mother that's telling the daughter, the daughter's bringing her. She brings her like a sandwich or something, and then drops it, and then brings it up, like picks it up and puts it back. I'm like, does she not like her mom? That's just disgusting.
No, she's just a dumb, I don't know, 80s, even though this is an 80s, like 80s blonde, and she's always got the headset on and the Walkman and
I mean, this was 80s.
She was missing the big giant
yeah, 88. Yeah, yeah.
businesswoman shoulder pads, but yeah, she seemed like she had leotards, those bright leotards that they used to have back
She
then.
was listening to her Walkman.
She might be leotarded.
Yeah.
There you go.
But no, but so she drops the thing, she comes and brings it to her mom, and her mom's eating it, and then all of a sudden roaches come while she's like in the bathroom. I don't know what she was doing for so long, just looking
And that
for her
scene,
hair.
a lot of scenes obviously kind of harken back to other films, and for me, that moment was definitely the Stephen King movie. The hell was it called? The anthology that got put out with the roaches.
Oh, Creep Show?
Creep Show, yeah, that was definitely a nod to Creep Show in my opinion.
A little bit,
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, and the daughter's kind of weird because I think she's talking to the sheriff and she goes, like, when I was in college, how old are you? Because she acts like a 17-year-old because she's like all googly-eyed over the chief. Sorry, the chief.
Mhm.
And it's just like, wait, are you in high school or something? And then she goes, well, when I was in college, it's like, are you graduated from college? Like you're dumb. Wow. Man, that college system did not work for you.
And that's typical 80s thing where you've got people who you really think are a certain age, but they don't act it, they don't look it, and it's like, wait a second, how old is this person?
Well,
I
it's
really
like
can't tell.
it's the exact opposite of what normally is. It's normally a 30 something playing a teenager. Now it's a teenager playing a 30 something, whatever. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, but it was ridiculous because like I guess she was still living at home with her mom, and she was like doing something with her hair or whatever, and the bugs come and just eat her mom, to death or whatever. And I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, she's like combing her hair or something. She's got the headset on so she can't hear
Mhm.
anything. And it's these close-ups of her head.
yeah,
Almost like they didn't shoot it where they wanted to. Like, oh crap, this isn't that location, so we need to go shoot it
And
someplace else and we'll just shoot it in close up.
let's not whitewash the fact that there was a scene where there were bugs in someone's mouth. Okay, that was pretty damn gross, and I that's probably the scene that stuck with me most throughout the time that I saw this because I'm like, man, there are times when I see a film and I'm like, yeah, this guy gets to kiss this really cool girl or pretty girl. I want to be an actor. And then there's something like that comes with like, man, I never want to be an actor. Okay? Have either of you guys ever had like to do something for a scene that was incredibly gross or disgusting and made you question your choices of careers?
oh,
Every day.
there was and I've posted it on a thing, but there was one scene that I didn't like in Zombie Isle, where the girl that I was with, that I was supposed to be like partnered with or whatever, she blew like cigarette smoke in my face, and that was all planned. He told me that this was going to happen and everything. I was not happy. I was like not excited about it, but I was like, I'll do it because it's acting. But it was awful. It was like, and my reaction in it where I'm like, right, like whatever was real, So I stuff like that. Yes, I don't enjoy it, but it looks great on film, or whatever. Like it looks
Would you
kind of cool.
guys do a bug scene like that?
No,
Sure.
no,
Well, well, if I
heck
was
no.
getting paid for it, yeah, why not? I mean, it's yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
but this is a Corman production, so it's Corman money. So 35
you're
cents.
you're you're in a Roger Corman movie. You got the Wrangler there. I mean, they know what they're doing. You're just putting the cockroach in your mouth. I mean, you just use mouthwash afterwards or brush your teeth or whatever. My the one film that's always stuck out to me with cockroaches and is Broke Down Palace. And
Mhm.
that's Claire Danes and Kate Beckinsale. And I forget
Yep,
which
yep.
one. I think it's Claire Danes who gets the cockroach in her ear which is a real thing, is that they see the heat and they will crawl inside your ear. And so after seeing that film with that scene that she's just screaming her head off, and they and the I think it's Claire Danes and then Kate Beckinsale's like, she has a cockroach in her ear, she has a cockroach in her ear, that you just need to get it out of her ear, and they take her out and shoot her. So it's like they put her in front of a firing squad, and instead of just helping her. And that the idea of just a cockroach just at night when you're sleeping, like it did with her, and it just sees the heat in your ear and it could just crawl right
Sad.
in. Yeah, you know, that's a horror movie
Yeah,
right there. It's just,
I'm kind of like with you, Moody. I don't think I want to mess around with
I
bugs.
mean, well, I'm not gonna lie. If Steven Spielberg was paying me, $5,000 or even more to do that, I might be okay with it. But I mean, yeah, I would not be excited about doing it, and I'd be like dreading the day, the time.
Or God, what if you got a Stanley Kubrick there, and he might be paying you $5,000, but it's like 250 takes.
Well, from what I understand, Steven Spielberg would be like, "Oh, that's great. Let's shoot it from this angle next, and let's shoot it from this angle next." And then I'll be like, I don't think I can do that.
no, think what they went through on Temple of Doom. You had all
Yeah,
those bugs everywhere.
Mm.
I don't like bugs. I'm not a big bug guy. I hate spiders. Like they're the worst because because A, some of them are poisonous, and B, um, they can they have all the webs, and so you just don't see the webs. You bop right, get right into it. You're destroying poor spiders' homes, by accident. You're not meaning to,
But
so.
it's an effective thing because let's face it, bugs are universal. They're part of all of our lives, whether we like it or not. And if you're going to make a horror movie, this is one way to sort of get at everybody because nobody likes bugs other than you're some kind of weird freako person like the scientist. Most
Well,
people
especially
don't like bugs.
cockroaches because they're so
Yes,
gross.
So
Yeah.
they're
okay,
like the number one enemy behind maybe mosquitoes.
so somebody was saying, this is something close to it, but like snakes, right? Somebody was saying that they hate people who go and kill snakes for sport, right? And I'm like, thinking because if a if a snake is in my yard, right, and it's a potentially dangerous snake, could kill one of my dogs or something, one of the dogs I have running around. Um, I'm sorry, I'm gonna kill it, you know? And it's not for sport necessarily. I'm not doing it for fun. I wouldn't do that for fun. I would never, and I don't, if a cockroach is in my house, I'm not going to kill it for fun. I'm going to kill it because I because they're hard to get, like you have to, so
Well,
I don't
I
do it.
have a movie that I was going to show you, Moody, on What the Fuck Fridays, but even I don't like watching it. I've only seen it once, and it's tough, but it's a real what the fuck movie. But it's called A Calamity of Snakes, and it's an Asian film. And oh yeah, there's some real live killing of snakes, like a lot of them,
I don't think I could
and
watch that like
it's
necessarily.
tough, man. It's really tough.
Because like I can't because like I look, I would kill it if I have to, right? So an example I was going to use on my friend's page that I chose not to say just because I guess it's a hot topic because somebody else said something and she freaked out on them. So I'm just like I'm going to leave it alone. But my thing was I worked at a water park, right? That was close to a lake, right? In the lake they had water moccasins, and the water moccasins would come into the park and would go into the rides. It would go into like the water, and stuff like that, and potentially bite somebody, right?
Tasty, tasty tourist to eat.
So one of my friends was the uh I forgot what it was, aqua technician or something, and he would go and he would have to wrangle the snake. You'd be the snake wrangler, you get the snake, and then he would have to go and kill it. And I asked once, I said, why do you have to kill it? Why don't you just put it back? And he goes, problem is you put it back in, it comes back, and it's happened a lot of times. If they do that, it becomes a snake infestation too, and we can't have that at the park. where people could one person bites somebody, they could
Oh, it's a
sue.
lawsuit.
Yeah, it's a lawsuit. So you need, so they kill them. And even though I don't condone just going around killing animals, but if it's for protection of yourself or people around you, I say it's okay.
Yeah, now in Calamity of Snakes, it's very obvious that they are killing real live snakes, and it's not for protection. It's just, and there are close-ups. It's gross. It's really tough to sit through. It's an effective, scene. Actually, there's a bunch of scenes like that because it's super creepy, but it crosses the line in a way that very few other films do. So
I'm
I
sorry,
just
man.
kind of tucked that movie away, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think I don't know that I want to subject other people to it, especially if you're kind of animal sensitive.
I am. I mean, I look, snakes are not my favorite animals in the world, but I think that there's a good place for them to eat rats. Rats are sometimes very bad for humans and areas and stuff. So it's
There's
just
very good rats. There's very bad rats. There's people on both sides.
for a second I thought you were doing Bill Murray and Caddyshack,
That's kind of
and
what it
then
sounded like.
Oh, then I'd be saying groundhogs.
right, but that's what I was thinking that you were thinking that you were doing that, and then I was like, okay, now you're doing Trump. Okay, I got it. All right. Well, and
Bill
then
Murray does kind of sound like Trump in that movie. Yeah.
well, from Caddyshack, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing too. I mean, sure, there's gonna be a bunch of bug deaths in this film, but I don't know. I'm kind of with Mr. Ward about this. I don't feel particularly aggrieved over seeing a few cockroaches get squished. I'm not
I mean,
gonna
I
lie.
No.
kill them all the time, so I really shouldn't say.
No, there's just certain things that, like, if there's a spider in my house, I will usher it outside. I will put it into a cup or whatever it
I've
is,
done
and
that.
yeah, and I'll
I've done
take it
that
outside
too.
and I'll let it go. If we get grasshoppers and stuff, and I'll let it go. But if it's a cockroach or a fly or yeah, a mosquito, no, you're dead. It's that simple. You
Wasp.
you you really serve no purpose. You're gone. There's flies just spread
The
disease.
the
That's
worst
all that's all they do.
the worst part is when a wasp or something like that, a hornet, something like that, gets in your thing,
Something
and
that fights back.
yeah, so you try to kill it, and it's coming at you. if you
Yeah.
if you miss,
I still try to. If a bee gets in my, I still try to get it out the door because you don't want to kill those things because they're good for the environment.
right.
So
When
so
when
I
I
do
They're
try to
a
get
was
it
murder hornet.
when I was a little kid,
out.
when I
An
was a little
angry
kid,
Asian.
and I was living in Delaware, I'll never forget one night. It was in the middle of the summer, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I was hot and I wanted to go get something to drink. So I walked downstairs, flipped on the light in the kitchen, and all of a sudden there were like a million ants on the floor next to the dishwasher that had never been there before, and I freaked out. I ran upstairs and I threw myself in bed and I hid, and I just was terrified. And then the next morning I came down, wasn't a single ant there. It's like it never happened. It was really weird. But I told my
Twilight
parents
Zone.
about it. Huh?
Twilight Zone.
Yeah. But I told my parents about it, and they ended up calling in an exterminator, and they squirted all back there. But
I mean,
freaked me the hell out because you see one ant, you see two ants, that's one thing. You see a million. See, that's the other thing about bugs, and especially like this movie. It wasn't just one cockroach. It was lots and lots and lots of them. And when bugs have numbers like that, it's different. It's very different than just being a little tiny thing. All of a sudden, that's a lot more threatening when there's lots of them and you're right next to them. You know what I
uh,
mean?
yeah, no, absolutely, and it can be very terrifying because you're we have people go and spray our house, kill all the bugs, or like every month or 2 months or whatever. Sometimes we have to call them back in because we get another, especially in summer, we get another
This
roach
is Virginia,
infestation.
man. It's hot and humid. It's bug heaven. So they're all over the place.
Hmm. But you just gotta get rid of them, and so I don't, like, maybe I'm going to change my tune about them killing the animals, the things here. I just what I don't like is that this was all set up so that they could go kill them.
Mhm.
Like I almost feel like that's kind of harsh. But
Well, and then of course that's part of what they're using for this film to show you how soulless this scientist is, because not only did she not care about, I mean, she wouldn't have cared about the dog, but she actually, sits there and enjoys and like watches the cat and has no feelings, no bad feelings about it
she's
whatsoever.
just impressed by the
It's
creatures.
like total sociopath,
Yeah.
Well,
you
the
know?
dog was just a guard,
Yeah.
for that little kind of
And it
trailer
was
thing.
chained up and had no
Yeah, and it
chance.
couldn't get away. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's what these scientists do. I mean, remember, with the shampoo companies spraying, shampoo into rabbits' eyes and stuff like that.
Makeup
Well, if
too.
we don't do it, then it's going to hurt people. So we have to do it to animals. And it's like, so a lot of these companies and scientists and stuff don't care about animals. They've
John
absolutely
Ward becoming PETA.
yeah, I mean it's my two cats are more important than I am. I've gone a day or two without eating to make sure they have
I
food.
hear you.
They have pet insurance. I don't, type of thing. So it's a but that type of stuff is. But hey, remember also 28 days later, those activists go in to save those monkeys, and the guy says, "Don't do it," and they do, and one of them bites the person, and then now we got the whole zombie infestation. So,
Mhm.
in some cases, saving something is not worth it. So,
You know
yeah,
what it is. The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
that's right. That's exactly what happens here. So, yeah.
Okay, well, is there anything else you guys want to talk about? I wanted to mention I thought that the production, considering it's a Corman production, I thought was pretty good. Like the music I thought was appropriate. And there were a few times where the lighting wasn't particularly good. I thought could have been better. But otherwise, I thought the post-production stuff was pretty good. Um, Nothing too remarkable. What do you guys think?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I like movies that take place, on like these little islands next to the sea. I like stuff shot in the daytime, so a fair amount of this was during the day. Practical locations are always good. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I find it to be very, very enjoyable. So
I love sea movies too, like that, or whatever, like The Fog, or
yeah,
not. Like I just like obviously Jaws, just I like small towns where like almost everybody knows everybody, kind of thing.
It's a little claustrophobic.
It's funny because normally I don't like I am claustrophobic, but like even then I'm like this is fun to me, like I almost want to live in a small town like that, because
And it's
Williamsburg is
also
small, but it's
nice
not, that small.
nice and convenient that the cave, wherever all the nasty stuff happens, has a nice little emergency exit there for you to get away.
Yeah, that little. Well, I almost thought like, could they have done that? Because like you see the fire or whatever, and I was like, wait, did they die? Because like it exploded like right where they were, and everything. I was like, I don't know. I think they would have been killed, or whatever.
Yeah,
But
no,
they,
no,
definitely.
hot girl has to escape, and then the scientist chick, who's Frankenstein, has to be killed by her creations.
yeah, and
So yeah,
sheriff's got to live, because he's the sheriff, or whatever.
She was tampering in God's domain.
that's right. And look what happened.
And
They
look
they
what
don't
happened.
care. They don't care. They don't.
There you go.
That's funny.
The last thing I want to say is that the was it the bug guy, the exterminator guy,
Homer.
happened to get the lighthouse going like that, just by punching it or whatever. I like, okay, but you know what? I'll buy it just because it's the end of
Oh,
the
they
movie and
that stuff happens all the time. Remember, Han Solo with the Millennium Falcon was constantly hitting it to get it to run
yeah, but
properly. So
George
yeah,
Lucas is so you know so
but
realistic.
that
Convenience.
It's
well,
Yeah,
convenient.
and it's
I
meant to
know.
be funny too. It's not working. It's not working. It's not working. And then
Oh
you
no, it's
you
working.
you fix it like an Italian. You beat it until it works. So and I could say that because I'm Italian.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that because I don't know that there was a whole lot of humor in this film. I mean, I guess the Gremlins scene was probably the most obvious point of humor in the film, but that aside, I think it was straight up horror, don't you think?
Yeah, it was straight up drama and horror. What do you think, John?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it had its moments that were meant to be, I think, funny, but yeah, more horror
Well,
than.
the what was that one guy, the weird homeless guy, I think he was supposed to be some kind of comedic relief, a little bit, you know. 'Cause he kind of made me crack up a little bit, you know. I liked him.
Yeah, yeah, he was just meant to be the weird guy, and his daughter was the waitress at the diner. So, and he does have that serious moment when he asks the chief, "Are you going to marry my daughter?" You know.
And he's the one that they find in bed, right? Or that Homer finds in bed, munched up.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, he runs from them and he hides underneath his throw blanket, and they all get him.
See, now if he had a Freddy Krueger throw blanket, maybe those bugs would have thought twice.
They'd be like, "Whoa."
I don't want him in my dreams, my
Nope.
little bug dreams.
He'd be doing the Joey Lawrence. Whoa,
Well, see,
whoa.
saving the day, everybody, saving the
There you
day.
go, keeping you free from bugs, from mutant roaches.
Put the cement lap, just so
Yeah,
nobody
and it's
flies.
funny because do you remember John Ward? There was the movie Bug, and it was like these horrible bugs that came up after an earthquake, and they would shoot fire and shit out of their
They
hands. It
were
was so
fire. It's a
ridiculous.
William Castle film. I think it's his last
Yes.
movie. And yeah, the earthquake happens, and they're beetles. They're like this big. And the one woman, it's the poster. It was on the phone, on like the earpiece of the phone, and it crawls into her ear and sets her whole head on fire. That movie terrified me as a kid. I
Oh
saw it at the
yeah.
movie theater, and or at a drive-in. And I would always pick up the phone when I was a kid and look at it first, and then I'd put because that movie scared the crap out of me. And at the
Bugs will
end,
do it.
you think they kill them all, and now they fly because
And
now they like shoot out and they all fly.
there's a
So, but
there's
we
a
never got Bug 2.
there's a Jaws reference to that because the actual director was the director of Jaws 2. So
Yeah, there you
yeah,
go. And
Sean Net.
for
Now William Castle produced it, but
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
but that
for,
Sean
for
Net.
me, the bug movie that got me really wigged out was Squirm. We haven't done Squirm. We're gonna do Squirm at some point, but the shower scene, come on, man! Especially for a little kid, and you see that, oh yeah, it freaked me out for days. So
Madeline,
bugs can do it.
Madeline Deering and I did Ticks, which was really good. I like that
With
one.
Amy Dolenz.
Yeah, with Amy Dolan.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
That one.
The
That was a lot
the
of fun.
the one that's really funny is Frogs. It has like
Oh,
Ray
Yes,
Milland and all
Ray
that.
Milland.
Yeah, because not
They're
one frog
horrible.
kills a person. It's frogs, and the poster has a hand hanging out of the frog's mouth. But the people run and they fall into quicksand, or they fall off a cliff, or they fall
They're
on like
incompetent.
a branch. The frogs don't kill one person in the movie,
Nope,
but yet
they
it's
are
called
not.
frogs.
You can't accuse them of croaking anyone.
Uh,
Nobody. People croaked, but not.
Uh, well, on that note, I think it's time we start talking about how we're going to score this movie. So, for those of you who need to know, we score our films on a 1 to 10 basis, by which the lower the film, the less stink there are, so the better the film. And the higher the number, the more stink there is, which means it's a worse film. It's got a lot of problems, a lot of issues. And then we take our three scores, we add it up, and then we see where on the ladder of stink this particular film happens to fall. And I think, as Mr. Moody pointed out, this probably isn't going to be too stinky. I think we all have an appreciation of this film. So, who would like to score this film first?
I want to hear John's.
well, here's how I would like to do it. I could do it, then Paul should do it because you're probably going to give it the lowest, I would think, or the highest, I guess, depending on how you look
Yeah.
at it, and then do Jonathan because he's probably going to be more on my level. So if I were to do it, and 10 being the stinkiest and one being not stinky, I think I would give it a 5. No, I take that back. A 3. I'm going to give this a 3 because 5 is halfway. No, 3. It's a 3.
Are you sure you're not going to go all the way around from 3 to 5 or something like that?
Oh,
No. I think
Well,
we
it's
stay there.
very interesting that you did that because I'm going to give it a 5. That's what I was going to give it. You know,
Okay.
it's not because it's a meh film. It's not. It's just that there are equal amounts, in my opinion, of good stuff and stuff that was not particularly good. But it still makes it a good film, and it's still one that I think folks should go out and check out. And I'm glad that it's finally out in Blu-ray and DVD for folks to be able to see it.
Yeah, it's. I'm sorry, Moody. I'll say this. I'll let you go. It's. I think I give it more of a 3 because it's still better than most of the Jaws ripoffs. Even the big budget ones. Like it's still better than Orca the Killer Whale. It's still better than Tentacles. It's still better than all of these huge mainstream, killer animal or bug movies. And it's Roger Corman, Julie Corman on this tiny little budget, and it's better than a lot of those. I mean, it's got that great 20 minutes. So that's why I give it a 3. Yeah.
So it's funny because this is directed by the same guy who did White Wolves 2, which I have the rating right here, and I'm going to give this one a 3, and I gave the other one a 4. For White Wolves 2, and Matt L. Anderson gave it a 5, and John gave it a 3 for White Wolves 2. So you tied on. Apparently, you like this director, even though he doesn't seem to be fond of you.
I like him as a director, just not a person, I guess.
That
Uh,
happens.
but and also, yeah, but it's really funny because it seems Matt and Paul always seem to have similar taste and similar things. Even though I think Paul would have given a White Wolves 2 a higher rating just because it's a teen movie.
Well, that's just it. No teenagers in this film.
Well, there was a girl who acted like a teenager, but she was
Yeah,
in
didn't count. Didn't count.
yeah,
We don't know because she went to college,
she went to
apparently.
college. But that's it. But yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was more fun than I expected, because A, it was somebody's first film, and B, it was Roger Corman's company. So like a lot of times some of that stuff's just bad, So they're like, I'm gonna give this guy a chance and whatnot.
And I really wanted to see if you guys thought that the movie was as gross and icky and disgusting as I did when I first saw it. You know what I mean?
Pretty gross and disgusting and
I
icky.
don't think I ever found it gross and yucky and all that. I think I'd seen enough bug movies to where it didn't bug me.
Uh,
But it yeah, I don't think it did. I think I was just more. I thought that the effects and everything were good. So that's what they're gross. They're like Reanimator gross in a way. They're very slimy and wet and gooey, and so that's what I liked about it was that.
except
So
that these are real roaches.
yeah, I think more of like the cat and then the hybrid man, roach. But the roaches themselves, like to me, roaches don't gross me out. They're just disgusting. So I have no problem with hitting one and I would collect them and throw them down the sink and I would flush them down and pour chemicals down there too. So it would. My last apartment was awful. Some a-hole in one of the other apartments basically had about 20 bags of garbage in their apartment. He eventually got kicked out, and they spread.
Ugh.
And so they got underneath my sink, and you could not. I would basically make dinner. I would set it down. I would leave, come back to get my dinner, and there'd be like 3 or 4 cockroaches crawling around
Oh,
on the dinner. And
yeah,
it's like, okay, well, trash that goes. So guess I'm
Eek.
not eating tonight.
that's gross.
So
But
yeah, that's what grosses me out about them is they're just gross, but they don't gross me out like ew, there's a cockroach. It's just more like son of a
bitch, there's a cockroach.
yeah
But there's definitely a reaction, sure, and I think
yeah.
that's the universal thing for this film. It's touching something that everybody has a reaction of some kind to it.
We need a sequel of Joe's apartment. It's called John's apartment.
Hey, if I could get if I could get what's her name, Megan Ward to be in
Oh,
it, sure, of course. I always
please.
wanted to marry her, so she would be
I
Megan Ward Ward. I thought that would be great. Megan
Well,
Ward
what
hyphen Ward.
I'll tell you what, if we ended up doing a sequel and you could do that creep show part with the roaches there, would you do that?
You have to pay
I-
them some good money.
Well, at the end, that's a dummy. So they had them all come out of a dummy, but being surrounded by cockroaches, sure. Yeah, I don't think that'd be a problem. Yeah.
Just don't put it in your mouth.
I could probably spit out one or two. Because
Jesus
you've seen
Christ, I
like even
cannot.
like big mainstream actors, they'll pick up something and they'll eat it, and it looks and it's supposed to be a cockroach, and then you'll find out in behind the scenes that it was a real cockroach.
Yeah, I think Nick Cage did that once.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who it might have been. Nick Cage. Yeah.
Of
He didn't
So
course,
do
Nick
that with
Cage. Who else?
yeah,
he
of
didn't
course.
do
Yeah.
that with the bees though.
Not the
No,
bees. The
the
bees, not
bees.
the bees.
We haven't really done a bee movie. We need to do. There's a bunch of crappy, stinky bee movies that
We've
came from
done
the
B
70s.
movies, but we haven't
Yeah,
done a B movie.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we did do one early on.
Oh yeah, we
Um,
did that Killer Bees or whatever,
Killer
or
bees.
bee something or whatever.
Murder Hornets. Yeah.
We didn't do that yet, and I
To
don't
go
think
back
Yeah.
to that
Paul
title.
really does not want to do another Dustin Ferguson movie unless we have to.
Oh no, I'm ready to do one. It's you
Oh,
that don't want to do one.
you
Yeah.
should watch the film discussion that Philip, Donald, and I just did, which is called Worst Movies. And it's the worst movies that we own and why we still own them. Why are they on our shelves if we hate
Oh,
them
we
so
should do that,
much?
Moody. We should definitely do
We're
that.
gonna steal that from you. Sorry,
That's
buddy.
fine. And Mr. Ferguson is brought up in that. So
We might have to have you on that show too. You
I
know,
would do that one. I could find, I'm sure I have some other stuff that's
He's
really
gonna see
bad.
that and write you a nasty email.
not just
Oh, I already got like
or
that cease and
sue
desist
you.
letter from a
Yeah,
lawyer, you know.
or sue you. Yeah, you know. Oh
Yeah,
well.
he's got nothing to sue.
Sue
Yeah.
you to have an opinion? Come on, give me a break.
Yeah. All right. Honestly, thank you, Paul, for picking this movie. I really did enjoy it. I wasn't sure, but I mean, I knew once I saw that Winkless did it and that Julie Corman produced it and everything, I was like, probably gonna enjoy it, and it did. It had this like nice, like I would own the Blu-ray of this, and stuff, and just put it
I
on
would
every
too,
now and then.
even though I think there's some stink to it. It's fine. It's got enough good in it, you know.
Yeah, like I feel like this is a movie I could watch over and over again.
And it's a
Yeah.
film you can torment folks with, which is great.
Yeah, with people who are really anti-book,
Squeamish.
you know. I definitely can see that. I think people will enjoy it. So I don't know. It's a good movie to this won't be coming out till November because I wanted to separate this one from the White Wolves, so it's not like we're doing two wingless movies back to back exactly. And I'm very happy that we got John because then he could talk about both, sort of both in a way. So thank you, John, for coming on.
Sure. I enjoyed both on different levels. So.
Yeah, we're almost not going to do it because I didn't have anybody planned because I had somebody and they're just kind of unreliable. So I kind of decided not to approach them and then I just forgot and my brain, whatever. And then I talked to John and was like telling him about it. He goes, "Oh, the movie The Nest, the Roger Corman movie?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I love that movie. Let's do it. I'll be happy to be on your show." And I was like, "Sweet."
Yeah, I remembered enough of it to where I was gonna not watch it, but I'm glad I did because I forgot about the big hybrid mutant monster at the end. I just remember the dad turning into it and the cat. So I was like surprised all over again. So
Yeah.
it's definitely worth watching if you want like a creepy bug movie for Halloween or something like that.
Oh yeah,
It's
they
worth
get
it.
at least 1 point on that whole cat roach thing. That was gross and interesting
Cat
and
Roach, I like that.
fun. Yeah.
Roach. Uh, that's
They should have done toys of these. I would have bought the Cat Roach, definitely.
Oh yeah. That would
yeah.
have been fun.
Well, you could still do that. They could still put those
I
out there.
wonder if somebody
Dude,
owns the Cat Roach. Like
we
it's just in a
we should
box somewhere.
we should totally do some fake uh, 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 commercials for Echo Lake exterminators where there's a cat roach running around and somebody's out there trying to kill it. What a great nod that would
That's
be.
It's
it
like
would be
hissing and
great.
meowing.
It would be great if we had the money to do that. Like that. They had some.
We could do that. We could
I
do that.
think they had some serious good money for it, for the budget and everything. A lot of it did go to the the effects, the designs, and some of the gore and stuff. It was pretty good, So I was pleasantly
I'm
surprised.
willing to bet that Jolene's boyfriend can put together a cat roach for us pretty cheap.
Probably, maybe. Or we could do CGI cat roach. I'd be okay with that.
I like practical
It's
things.
got to be practical. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You just
this
get
way.
you just get a
sit
taxidermed
there.
cat, and then just take that cat and maybe like take its head off or cut half of its head off. And that way the camera just pans over to the taxidermed cat and you just make it like half roach.
Well, if we have it, then it can hang out in the studio with us.
Yeah, just in the background. Just have a cat roach in the background.
Cat roach in the background,
There you go. He's a new.
Yeah, be
he's
a
a
little
new
mascot. Yeah.
You're a mascot. We already have
Cat
two
Roach
new
Films.
mascots. We got two new
Cat Roach
mascots.
Films. I'm liking it.
All right, everybody. I think that about wraps it up. Thanks again, Paul, and
Yeah, thanks,
Sean.
Paul.
Yeah,
Yep.
this was awesome. So, tune in. Next month will be the last month of Indie Film Cafe's season.
Yay! Get a break.
Yeah, no, you don't, because we already had breaks. We've had like lots and
did?
lots of freaking breaks. Yeah.
Oh,
So you're gonna have to go right into it in September. Yeah, we gotta catch up, man. We're actually behind because you've been like, I can't do it today. I can't blah blah blah, and I'm like, all right, fine.
you're the one that can't come down to the studio all the time.
I know I can't come to the studio, but we could do Zoom, and you won't do Zoom. So
And that's because a lot of my movies are in my hands.
yeah, well, you gotta get more Zoom ones too. So, all right, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll be back for a new episode next month, or 3 new episodes next month, and the recap. So until then, everybody, hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll talk to you soon.
Save the cat roaches.
Bye.
Save the cat.
Save the cat roaches.
All right.